This probe survived, but who would have guessed? After awakening to new life, Japan's slender lunar landing probe continues its mission. The Japanese Wonder vehicle was unharmed by the frigid lunar night, and SLIM will now provide us with previously unheard-of data. The Japanese lunar probe, SLIM, which stands for Smart Lander for Moon Exploration, made a successful landing on the Moon's surface in January 2024. This was the first time a lunar probe landed almost independently and with a precision of 50 meters to the targeted landing site. This was an amazing accomplishment by the Japanese space agency, JAXA. And while the mission was essentially completed, SLIM goes further with their Lunar Pro. Although the Japanese are renowned for their love of technological tricks and cartoons, they once again demonstrated their technical innovation in space travel. However, the country is still relatively new, or better yet, entirely unidentified. Years ago, Japan successfully landed a lander, a rover, and a companion vehicle on an asteroid. Since then, the country has been studying the asteroid. These technologies are so clever that by closely examining asides and comets, they could prevent humanity from being devastated by them in the future. With a mission to the Moon, Japan aimed to finally receive the respect and recognition in space travel that the country has long deserved, and this time it succeeded. SLIM was the only probe to date that was able to land on the Moon. So unique. And also today, many countries have placed probes on the Moon, which may seem normal to us. However, most people are unaware of how difficult the landings are. Russia lost a probe on landing, India lost its lander and rover on the first attempt, and the second generation froze to death on the Moon. Only China has successfully landed one rover after another, and now Japan has done the same. Both countries are technological pioneers and are highly innovative. Trembling over SLIM was fully designed to carry out a targeted landing near the lunar equator, which is already a technical masterpiece. Although the landing operation was successful, there were several challenges. The FAA was so confident of its target that the entire world was ecstatic that the minor failure didn't really matter. But Japan is ambitious, and instead of standing upright as planned, SLIM ended up landing sideways as a result of an engine issue that occurred during the final stage of the descent as SLIM approached the lunar surface. The operation was immediately impacted by SLIM landing on a slope with an angle of roughly 17°. First, the sideways. Because the solar panels that were meant to power SLIM's batteries were not oriented ideally after landing, the probe was unable to collect enough sunlight to fully charge its batteries. Second, SLIM's ability to send and receive signals to Earth was reduced due to the tilted orientation, which also hampered the communication antenna's alignment. Despite these difficulties, the Japanese engineers were able to reposition the probe, which is truly miraculous. Landing the probe so precisely, then freeing it from its predicament and reactivating it after hibernation are master strokes by the Japanese SLIM had to carefully manage its energy during all this time in order to maintain communication with Earth. Despite its limited power, the position was not favorable in relation to the Earth. The lunar horizon was practically between the line of communication. This is another disadvantage of moon landings that many space enthusiasts are unaware of. Communication with probes can be extremely difficult. SLIM could only make sporadic contact with Earth, and JAXA could only control the probe at certain times to get it out of its predicament. This unforeseen situation presented the engineers at the Japanese Space Agency with considerable challenges. However, SLIM once again proved to be robust and flexible. So far, this completely new generation of lunar probe has proven to be not only unusually precise and intelligent, but also resilient and tough. Despite the difficult landing conditions, SLIM was able to continue its mission, and the fact that the probe is operational again, even after the lunar night will take our entire lunar research to a new dimension, SLIM is back despite an icy cold lunar night. It survived. There was great joy in India when 2 lunar probes finally landed in 2023. The Vikram lander and the Pragyan rover were the second attempt by the Indians to land probes on the Moon, But something happened that nobody had expected after Viking and Pragen had successfully landed. The lunar night soon fell on the moon. A day or night lasts 14. Earth days. The days can be hot and extremely bright, while the nights are icy cold and dark for some inexplicable reason. India has failed to equip its probes with heating pens. As the Indians wanted to achieve the feat of landing close to the rugged polar landscape, the probes were exposed to freezing temperatures, and what happened? They froze. To death, millions of dollars were lost just because there was no heating. Japanese thought ahead here, although SLIM was originally only supposed to accomplish the feat of precision. After landing, a follow-up mission was planned with the goal of sending at least a few pictures from the Shoali crater. After surviving temperatures as low as 173 degrees C, the probe took incredibly detailed and high-resolution images of the lunar surface. What was unique about this probe was that it lacked any special insulation or heating systems. The Japanese found a solution to the cold problem by putting the probe into hibernation mode, which protected the sensitive electronics from freezing. In hibernation mode, nearly all systems were turned off to conserve energy and maintain internal temperatures above 4 degrees C. On February 25, 2024, SLIM woke up and sent a signal to the JACA team. You can imagine how excited the Japanese space experts were, and of course the news went around the world immediately. At first, experts from NASA and other spacefaring nations doubted that the Japanese strategy would work, but Japan, once again, showed an unusual inventive spirit and far-reaching progress in space travel. SLIM lived through the lunar night, and its communication capabilities remained intact. This awakening represents a major advancement in space technology for all of humanity, since we all gain from the Japanese technological marvels and wish to advance together in lunar exploration. The moon's development as a settlement and economic region is rapidly approaching, and NASA will soon be sending humans back to the moon to live and work as part of the Artemis mission. The Japanese have already stated that they will contribute ENT life support systems to Artemis, and Japan has developed several other intelligent lunar probes that will soon complement SLIM. One of the probes resembles a rolling ball and is intended to roll independently over the lunar surface, developing into a versatile rover in appropriate locations. SpaceX and Elon Musk will also be involved in the project, and JAXA's accomplishments will also secure it a place in the International Moon Project. Samples are then taken using tiny drills and measuring probes. Snap photos and gather information. After the job is finished, the rover comes up again and rolls on. These amazing SLIM is just the beginning. The fact that this probe is operational again following the harsh conditions opens the door to new dimensions of lunar exploration. Parts could be used all across the moon and make work easier for lunar inhabitants and scientists. The first item on the agenda is the continuation of scientific experiments and data collection. The probe will continue to explore the lunar surface, particularly the geologically and meteorologically highly interesting Shoali region. The second international project to make a soft landing on the moon after the United States and the former Soviet Union was the Smart Lander for investigating the moon. India and China, Russians and Americans are collaborating on space projects, and the moon is gradually changing into a multicultural landscape that is sending a peaceful message to Earth. In space, nations are joining forces to create a community that also improves the situation on Earth. Before this sensational discovery, scientists believed we would need to drill long and hard for lunar ice or carry water via pipelines from the lunar poles to the settlement areas planned for the future. However, each mission contributes to future projects on the moon, and the active exchange of technologies and knowledge strengthens the international human community. Japan, India, and even the Chinese are sharing their incredible successes with the Chang'e missions with the world. For example, Chang'e succeeded in finding tiny glass beads containing water. These glass beads are scattered practically everywhere in the lunar soil, and lunar settlers only need to boil them to use the water they contain. Slim's research in Shaolin Crater will give us important information about the geology of the Moon. The Chinese astronauts also discovered a helium isotope on the Moon that could power future fusion reactors. Nuclear fusion would be the answer to Earth's energy crisis, and we could also run power plants on the Moon that generate inexpensive, clean energy, which could power life support systems. Understanding the Moon's structure is crucial if we want to use it as a settlement and possibly even as an economic area in the future. Space shuttles are launched by bright green buildings on the Moon, allowing life to thrive on what is currently a terrible barren. Another crucial component of the plan to make the Moon a habitat is Moon Slim. Get even more fascinating movies about space and the newest developments in astronomy and astrophysics by clicking the subscribe button right now.